Hey, what's up, friends? This is Casey with This Friend House, and yes, I am filming from my laundry room slash office slash do nothing room. I have had a lot of questions on my direct messaging and personal messaging about our budget and how we hash that out every month or for the week or for the year, how that works for us. I've had questions about, did we do Financial Peace University? Questions about how does all of the budgeting factor into having teenagers? You guys have had some really great questions, and I really think that's cool. I thought that I would be very revealing and show you guys our life. Firstly, my most excited point is my planner, and I want to show you guys, I list every single expense on the planner, everything. And I know it doesn't look like we have any expenses whatsoever at the beginning of the month, but you'll notice that the beginning of the month actually didn't start until Sunday, so therefore we did have expenses. Typically our biggest chunk of expenses are the end of the month and the beginning of the month, so they're kind of butted up against each other. And I'm sorry, I'm having to do laundry, so you're just gonna have to hear my laundry machine. A girl's got to get her laundry done. We really tried to focus on how to keep as much of our checks in the accounts for those bigger payments that had to come out. So I track all of those. I write them all down when they're expected to come out. And then I know, like when my husband's paid on Fridays, I know exactly how much the following week is gonna have money being drawn out from that check. So I'll explain that better whenever I go through the legal pad for us. To maybe give you guys a better perspective, and I have not cleared off my November, we have a budget board. We write down every expense. We do all of our fixed expenses and we do all of our variable expenses. We total all of those up. We've got like family savings, we've got an emergency fund, and we've got tithing. Now that you guys have got to see our monthly expenses, you guys can see how much our income is versus our outgo, like our payments. And then, so there's not a whole lot of rolling over into our debt snowball yet, but we're getting there. We had to get into the emergency fund about 2 months ago. We are just now getting to that. We're $50 away from our $1,000 back into our emergency fund, and that money that I've been putting every week, that $40, is now going to be going into our actual debt snowball. So, which makes me very happy because I'm so sick of braces, and now I've got this huge chiropractor bill that I have to pay. It's like one thing after another. So I'm so fed up with the debt. We've got to get out of this debt. It's just ridiculous. So that's my life right now. Those are my stresses. I'm going to get up close and personal. So this is December. I do this per week. I sit down with what is our remaining balance, and then I put in all of our expenses, and then I come up with my total. It's really simple. What's left over, I literally look at as like, this money needs to go to next week, because I know that there's no reason that I need to be spending that. If I already took money put into the emergency fund, if I already took money to put into the family savings, if I already took money out for Jesus, that money that's in there is for the next week's bills. And so I will put Eric's next paycheck, and that is done usually in a different color. This time it's done in pencil. It's usually in a different color. And then I will look ahead and I will say, okay, if we have $176 left over, Eric gets paid, then how much is that going to leave for my bills? Like, then all of these bills are going to come, and I will know that, you know what, Casey, you can't go and get a chai latte because you can't afford it. I mean, if there's any money left over in the grocery budget, spend that, girl. I know that I cannot spend the money that's in there because I'm going to need it for the next week's paycheck to cover the rest of the expenses for that next week. So even though it's a monthly budget and I know how much my money is that's coming in, and I know how much then is going to go out, that does not mean that everything clicks together. So every week I sit back down and we reevaluate. Friends, I love to eat. Like, my favorite foods in the world are totally salsa and cheese dip and stir-fried chicken with bean sprouts. Like, those are my like go-to meals. I've got to have them. And eating out is not a possibility for us. That's not happening right now. So I do a lot of cooking at home. I do a lot of meal preps at home. I do my twins' lunches. I do my husband's breakfast. I do breakfast for all of the kids. And then I pre-prep my lunches. I also meal plan for my suppers. And sometimes there's like little things that have to be prepped for that stuff to just be thrown together. So I love to be in my kitchen. It's not my favorite kitchen that I've ever had, but you know what? It still cooks food, so I really like to be in the kitchen. There have been questions about groceries, like how we budget for our groceries since we have 3 teenagers. And I follow Jordan Page from funcheaperfree.com and budgetbootcamp.com. I think she's fabulous and I really like her videos. She's very fun and spontaneous, and I cannot imagine raising 6 kids under the age of 8. Like, what a woman. So right now I'm just trying to get through the struggles of raising 3 teenagers. But anyway, her suggestions are to have $100 per person per month in groceries. And so with 5 people in my household, that would be $500. And typically there's 4 weeks to a month. Sometimes there's 5. And so we budget $125 a week in groceries, unless it's a 5-week month. Then we do $100 in groceries. And honestly, that's always been more than enough. If you follow me on Instagram, I usually do my grocery hauls on there so you can see them. Along with the $125 that I take out every week and I put into a cash envelope called groceries, I also have emergency fund money, I have family savings money, and I have tithe. So those are also automatically coming out in cash. My husband also gets cash for the week. And then I also do like weekly fuel. So other things that I have a cash envelope for is the Wednesday fund. So I think that's it for my cash envelopes. If you guys have questions about cash envelopes and how I keep them or what they look like, just holler and let me know. I will tell you one of my favorite things about my grocery cash envelope. It is always on me in my purse. Always. And inside of it, I always have my Sam's card because I have to go to Sam's at least once or twice a month. And then it's also always got every receipt from any purchase that I make. Anything, whether it's fuel, whether it's Walmart, Target, Kohl's, anything, any kind of receipt. And I put it in the grocery budget envelope. And then at the end of the month, I put that away and I tuck it away into a file folder, and I actually have my November one that I can show you guys. Is the November food budget envelope, and it's really tacky. I'm really sorry, but where I bank, I have their envelopes, and then across the top of it I put the month, and then I put food, and then I kind of like dress it up with a little bit of washi tape or whatever, just to kind of make me feel a little special. All right, so if you are not plugged into a church, one, you need to do that. What are you waiting for? It's awesome. We have such an amazing experience with our church family. Our church hosts a Financial Peace University course a couple of times a year. If you don't have a church, find one. And if your church doesn't teach FPU, guess what? You can teach FPU. You don't even have to have had the class before you get to teach it. So go to Dave Ramsey's website, and I can't remember that, but I'll try to link it below. Go to Dave Ramsey's website and let them know that you're interested in coaching, and talk to your church about possibly being the FPU coordinator, and just teach it. So I've got 2 really great friends who have taught it. I've got one that has taught the FPU class and the legacy class. I've done both of those and I love them. And then I've got another friend who has taught the military FPU, because military families and finances are just so different from civilian life. My point is, loved it. It was totally worth every penny. I want to say it's a 9-week class. I can't remember. It's been so long. But it covers everything from your first budget to your budget committee meetings. And yes, we have budget committee meetings. The kids sit down, Eric sits down, that board that I showed you earlier, everybody kind of talks about like what our expenses are supposed to be that month. And the kids are awesome about like, hey, don't forget bar warmings this month. So the kids kind of have a really, really great perspective of upcoming things in their lives and their clubs that they have. So FFA, Beta, FCA, these organizations that they have there at school, and if there's anything like fundraising that they have to contribute to, or like if I know I have to go and buy breakfast supplies for one of their monthly meetings or whatever, then I get to add that to the budget, and I don't feel angry the 2 days before when they're like, oh mom, I forgot to tell you, I need plastic sporks, and I need napkins, and I need cups, and I need a bag of ice. Because the last thing I want to do 2 days before is to go and get those things. I need to put ice on the list for today. So Dave walks you through how to start a budget. He talks to you about your first budget committee meeting. He talks to you about debt snowballing, which is usually what everybody is super excited about in that class. Like once we figure out our budget and we see the extra money, then we can start paying off that smallest debt, and then that money goes to the next debt. And then while you're still paying the minimum payment on all those other debts, you're still snowballing. And so it's fun and exciting stuff. I mean, like to see that first debt come off was like, well, that was kind of easy. You know, like I think I could do this. And then you see the next one being doubled almost. And then you're like, okay, this is pretty cool. And it's a cool experience. We talk about insurance. We talk about making sure that you are covered in health insurance, making sure that you've got dental vision. And if you don't have dental vision, like how to cash flow for those if you need them. We talk about life insurance, how important life insurance is. He also covers car insurance, and he talks to you about the differences in liability and full coverage. There is also talk about retirement and how to invest, and he really encourages you to sit down with an investor that has the heart of a teacher and wants to educate you and not make you feel stupid. So what other questions do you guys have about FPU? Again, if you have them, post them down below. I'll see if I can answer them to my very best ability. I really enjoyed the FPU classes. I felt like I had a control on my life that I had never realized I could have control of. When we sat down and did our budget, we really did feel like, oh my gosh, what have we been doing with our money? Like, because we never really knew what we were making. We never really knew what we were paying. And so when we had all that down on a piece of paper, it was very awe-inspiring and embarrassing. To recap, get yourself a way to track your monthly budget, like your monthly expenses, and that way you know what you're going to be paying every month and when those need to be coming out. We largely have a lot of things on the automatic payments. Most everything we have is automatic payments. There are just like a couple things that I have to write checks for. Get your planners or write it all out on your pieces of paper like we have done, or find an app that you really like. Mint.com is a good one. EveryDollar is a good one. Get those apps out there and use those. Try to find out like how much you're spending versus how much income you have coming in, and try to live on less than what you make. That's really about like what it sums down to. Our 2019 goal for us financially is to be living off of only 80% of our income. And I know that sounds crazy because that's what we should be doing anyway, but we're getting there slowly but surely. And hopefully in 2020, we can scale that down to 70% and continue growing like that, closer and closer. Be mindful of your grocery budget, because that's really where a lot of us can scale back, and the extra money in your monthly checks can be snowballed into your first and smallest debt. Make sure that if you haven't taken FPU classes, that you take the FPU classes. If you cannot afford the $100 for the class, you can listen to the Dave Ramsey podcast. You can actually there's the Dave Ramsey app. You can listen to the Dave Ramsey app, and I'll try to get those things linked below. There's also Rachel Cruze, which is Dave Ramsey's daughter and one of the fabulous personalities at the Ramsey Solutions. I love her. She's spontaneous and fun. She kind of reminds me of Jordan. But yeah, I think that's all I've got for you guys today. If you have any other questions, please be sure to comment below. If you like this video, you found it helpful, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe, because you're going to want to see more videos of me in my laundry room / office do nothing room. And don't forget to click that bell. Whenever you guys get the bell, that it'll automatically notify you that I have a new video posted. So you guys are rocking awesome, and I love you all, and thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to share me on your social media accounts. God bless. Why did I wave? What is my problem? I'm always waving. Peace. So on today's video, I thought that I would talk to you guys, and I did the sew again. Oh my gosh, it's like I can't grow up and all I have is to say is ums and so's. And do you guys have those annoying things? I don't know if I'll ever hear that, but all right. What else do I have to tell you? What's wrong with you? You would think I have like 2 more than me.